Hello Scorpio, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading, booking a personal reading or coaching session with me, or on my upcoming workshop is in the description box below. And there will be more on that upcoming workshop at the end of this video. So let's go ahead and jump in, Scorpio. We're going to start with looking at overall energy through oracle cards first, and then we'll dive deeper into the story with tarot as we progress. But let's first start with this recent past energy. Let's see what you guys have been dealing with. What has Scorpio been dealing with in the recent past? You have work through your fears. So to me, this is an energy of feeling very deep in the unknown, maybe even very out of your comfort zone. Also, just kind of experiencing this fear that things are never going to evolve in the way that you want them to, that you're never going to find that relationship, or you're never going to find that success, or whatever the case is. You do have conclusions are within reach with belief in the impossible. So to me, this is this energy of, certain dreams or outcomes or desires that you have feeling very impossible. And I'm sure that there's more to the story than just that, and I think we'll get more information on, what you guys are really dealing with. But I do feel that Spirit is trying to push you in the direction of the things that you really do want and are deserving of at the end of the day. All right. Overall energy for Scorpio's current energy. Current energy for Scorpio, please. The answers you need are coming. Take time to breathe out and look at the bigger picture. Not everything is as it seems right now. I feel like there's this energy of feeling really lost, feeling maybe even like in this place of disappointment or hopelessness even. That word kind of comes to mind. It doesn't have to be that extreme, but depending on your situation. And with this answers you need are coming card, I feel like Spirit is saying, don't assume the worst right now. And I feel like that's hard, just kind of given what it is that you have been dealing with, and especially when you've been dealing with something for a really long time. Like, it's hard, to keep that hope and to keep trusting and to keep believing. But I feel like Spirit is saying you don't have the full picture. Like, you don't have all of the answers right now. With this take time to breathe out card, I feel like there's a need to, it's hard to say, right? Because it's like when you're struggling and someone comes around, it's like, oh, just relax, everything's going to work out. That feels very dismissive. It's like someone is saying, oh, your feelings don't matter, or you're overreacting. That's not what I want this message to come across as, but I do feel like Spirit is saying you can relax and that things are going to make sense as you continue to progress on this journey. So I think that things are better than you think that they are right now. That doesn't mean that your feelings are invalid or that you should just, not feel the way you feel. But you also have a time for healing and the end of a tough cycle approaches. So I feel like you're coming to the end of a very difficult, almost yes, obviously cycle, but I almost feel like transition period as well. But let's see what Scorpio's got moving forward. Especially if you've been doing the work and you've been doing the healing and you don't feel like you're seeing the results. I feel like that's what you're going to start seeing as long as you keep putting one foot in front of the other. What does Scorpio need to know? Step out of your comfort zone and have faith in your dreams. So Spirit is actually, and then, yeah, look at the bigger picture again. And I said this at the beginning, you're being pushed in the direction of desired outcomes of your dreams, whatever that might mean to you, whatever that looks like. But it is requiring you to be very far out of your comfort zone, which I feel like you have been. And I honestly feel like I'm speaking to a collective that should really applaud themselves for being so willing to step out of and stay out of their comfort zone, especially if you're starting to lose patience, like that hopelessness is starting to creep in. Like, it gets harder the closer you get to the end of a cycle. So, now is not a time to give up, to throw in the towel, to abandon your path at all. I feel like it's a time to really double down and to trust that really good things are ahead. But that's just overall energy. So I don't know why my cards are looking so crooked today. But let's see what else we've got here. Yeah, and then you have expect powerful change there on the beginning, or on the bottom. And I said on the beginning, which is interesting. Expect powerful change and a new beginning, maybe. Okay, overall theme of this reading for Scorpio. I feel like something is closing out, and it's specifically a difficult period. It's not, and I feel like it's about damn time. It's kind of what I heard. I feel like it's been a long time coming. Overall theme of this reading for Scorpio, literally full moon. That's closing out cycles. Which, yeah, you have full moon here in your current energy with the answers you need are coming. So you're definitely closing out something pretty major. Knowledge and trust. Yeah. I feel like understanding that the reason that things feel heavy right now, and maybe even a little bit hopeless, is because you're at the end of a cycle. And what I've really learned about how cycles work is, in the cycle, you learn a lot, right? You heal, hopefully you heal, you grow, you evolve. And at the end of that cycle, before things really close, you are having to apply all of that healing, that growth, and that evolution to fully close it out. Because the cycle, the point of it is the healing, the growth, and the evolution, right? So the cycle will repeat until you reach the level of healing, growth, and evolution needed to close out the cycle. So as you're closing out a cycle, being aware that, okay, things are heavy right now because I'm coming to the end. It kind of feels, it's like that period where people start to feel like, oh, the universe is testing me. The universe is not testing you. I don't like that that concept, because I think that it makes it feel like the universe is on a different side than you are. The universe is standing right here next to you, wanting you to close the cycle just as much as you do. But this cycle that you're in and the closing of it is necessary for like your spiritual evolution, your soul's journey. So I feel like having that awareness right now that that's what's happening can really, really help you keep going, again, not give up, not throw in the towel, not lose faith during this this period. I don't know what this is in regard to. It's like if you've been putting a lot of effort into something and you're just not seeing the results, like I feel like you're going to see those results. Continuing to truly commit to your path, to yourself, to your truth, whatever, resonates the most with you. But let's dive into this a little bit deeper. Scorpio, looking at this recent past energy, work through your fears. Conclusions are within reach. Closing out cycles has been a really big theme of this round of readings that I've done for April. And I think that it's because, as we're entering into spring, and I'm going to be the first to tell you that I don't know a whole lot about astrology. I know the very basics. So I'm sure some of you can really fill in the gaps for me. But, as we're heading into spring, like it's really a time of, rebirth and coming out after periods of isolation. And like, I think that this is a time where you see a lot of transformation and you see a lot of change, and, you're closing out, the old stuff and stepping into the new stuff. And I think that, just as a whole, like that's what nature is doing. And I think that, you know, that obviously aligns a lot with the messages that have been coming through this week. But let's see what else we've got here for you, Scorpio. Let's look at this recent past. Conclusions are within reach with work through your fears. You've been having to move through a lot of emotions, a lot of doubt, a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. I feel like it's been a period of having to like just deal with a lot. Like there's been a lot of things that I feel like have just kind of have kept arising, have kept coming, obstacles, challenges. And with this Ace of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles, I feel like it's felt like this process has taken forever. You have the Lovers in reverse here too. So I definitely feel that not seeing the results that you want maybe has you starting to doubt whether or not you can have those results, whether you're worthy of them, you know, capable of them, you know, any of those kind of synonyms there. But I do also feel like with the Judgment here that the truth of what's really going on has been hidden beneath the circumstances itself. So what I mean by that, and ultimately what I try to do with these readings is I don't want to talk about what's going on in your life. You know what's going on in your life, right? I want to talk about why. I want to talk about what's going on spiritually, what's going on with your soul, what's going on with, you know, that subconscious of yours. And I think that, you know, understanding that there is a bigger picture or a deeper purpose for everything that we go through can really help us trust in those moments where it feels hopeless or we feel lost or stuck or scared. To trust that there's a reason for it and that reason is good. And I think that that is what you're being asked to really tap into right now. I feel like I'm speaking to a collective that has been really doing the work, that has been putting in the time, the energy, and the effort to the growth, to the healing, to, you know, investing and showing up in what's best for you. And I'm going to be so honest with you, that takes time, because when you know, change your approach to your life, when you go from acting from a place of unworthiness, right? Maybe you struggled with setting boundaries, or you never took risks because you didn't believe in your capabilities, you know, things of that nature. And you switch to doing the opposite, to showing up differently, to choosing yourself, to setting boundaries, to walking away from things that aren't serving you. You are going to enter periods where you are essentially going to be facing all of the fear that kept you stuck in unhealthy patterns and behaviors in the first place. So understand that all of the things that have arisen through in the recent past, and maybe even still kind of carrying over into your current energy, all of these things are giving you the opportunity to show up as you, it's like to show up as the person that you say you are, that you say you want to be, as the version of you that has done the healing and done the growth. So your hard work, the things that, you know, the ways that you've committed to yourself and to your path, it has not gone in vain. And I know that right now it might feel like it, but I think that you're going to start to see, I do feel like you're going to see the results. I really do, the results of your effort. But let's see right now where you're at. Take time to breathe out. The answers you need are coming. I feel like right now is a time to really surrender over your ideas, your expectations, which is hard, right? To letting go is always hard. But I feel like in general, the biggest point of this reading is to bring into your awareness that you are coming to the end of a cycle, so that as things start to feel really difficult and really heavy, it's not an indication of you moving backwards, and it's actually an indication that you're about to have a pretty major breakthrough. Current energy for Scorpio. So trust that as much as you can. I know that it's not easy, and you're not going to believe me. You're not going to believe it until you get to where this is taking you. But having that awareness can help. Yeah, there's, okay, the Devil with the Hermit. Ooh, okay. So I'm actually not taking this devil as usual. I kind of see how this is appearing. And it goes back to something I used to say a lot. The closer you get to the end of the cycle, the harder the devil attacks. When I talk about the devil, I'm not meaning an actual separate creature. I'm talking about the fear, the anxiety, the doubt, the insecurity, like the things that keep you stuck in old habits and old cycles. And I think that what is necessary to understand here is now is not a time to fall back into old patterns, or it's and it goes back to what I said, like now's the time to really double down. This hermit here, I feel like, is making sure that you are spending the time that you need to in like reflection and maybe even some isolation. Not saying you need to like, kick people out of your life or anything like that, but just making sure that you're having the time to really work through everything that's coming up right now. Awareness is so important because it allows us, awareness is the distance between what happens to us and how we respond. If we don't have awareness, we tend to react. So if fear arises and we don't have the awareness of what's really happening, we react to that fear, right? Which typically leads to self-sabotage or allowing essentially the negative behaviors and patterns to arise again. So you're in that space right now where you have a choice, Scorpio. You have a choice to make. And that choice is to keep showing up in faith. At every single moment of our life, we have one of two options. We can either respond to our fear, or I guess allow our fear to control us, make decisions from a place of fear, or make decisions from a place of faith, to trust our worthiness, our capabilities, that we're supported by the universe. And regardless of how things seem around you, regardless of the opportunities that you don't see right now, the lack that you might be experiencing, regardless of all of it, Spirit is saying, please keep trusting. Please keep showing up in faith, because you are in the middle of creating a better reality for yourself moving forward. So you might be more drawn to like unhealthy habits and patterns right now, right? So, for me, when, things start to kind of go not the way that I intended. So I've been sober now for over 2 years from both alcohol and marijuana. And when things start to go not the way that I wanted, the first thing that comes into my mind is, oh, I want to drink, or like I want some sort of substance to help me through this. And those things arise to try to pull me back to those old patterns, pull me back to those old places. And the more that I become aware of it, the more that I realize I don't actually want a drink. I don't actually want those patterns or those behaviors, but they are my comfort zone. That's what I'm used to. That's what I've always run to when things get hard or difficult. So in the moments when things are tough, usually we're going to want to go back to old patterns, old behaviors, old cycles. But the more that we choose up in new patterns, behaviors, and cycles, the more we create a better reality. So having the awareness that that's happening right now, I feel like is really important for you, because I do feel like you're about to see the results. What does Scorpio need to know moving forward? You're on like the verge, like right on the edge here, Scorpio. And one of my favorite, I've seen this depiction, I guess you could say, a lot of different places, and it shows like on any journey, you make a little bit of progress, and then you're going to hit some sort of failure or setback, and that's where a lot of people give up. And then you make some more progress, and then you hit some failure, setback, challenge. That's where more people give up. You experience some more progress, big failure, big stressful feeling of everything is falling apart. And that's where most people give up, and then usually it happens right after that. So if you're going through something that feels like really heavy setbacks, challenges, obstacles that are just like, my God, like no matter how hard I try, it just feels like I cannot get past this, or I cannot get to this place. You are almost there. Like seriously, I feel like that's literally what this reading is saying. So what does Scorpio need to know moving forward? I know that I already shuffled, but I'm doing it again. Have faith in your dreams, so step out of your comfort zone. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. That's what I feel I'm hearing. 5 of Swords in reverse. Ooh, there's that Queen of Pentacles. This is very stable energy, very secure energy. Ace of Wands. 3 of Swords in reverse, and then there's the 7 of Pentacles. You know, stability in our life and the experiences that we desire, it all starts within us. It starts with what we think about, what we believe is possible, how we act, and how we show up. And healing is about shifting our inner world, our inner experience, right? It's about, you know, releasing limiting beliefs and replacing them with new ones. It's about learning to break out of negative thought patterns and replace them with more positive ones. It's about making conscious healing choices over our subconscious wounded patterns that we're used to. And it takes a lot of time for us to shift our energy, because when you're stuck in a place, when you've been stuck in a place of lack or survival for so long, it's really difficult to just like, you're not going to be able to just be like, okay, I'm done with survival mode and I believe I'm worthy and deserving and now everything's going to work out. Like, it doesn't work like that. It's like, think of it as like you're reprogramming yourself. You know, you're a computer, you're wired for survival, you're wired for lack, you're wired for what you've experienced, what you're used to this point. And when you are on a healing journey, when you're on a spiritual journey and you're shifting, you know, you're shifting perspectives and you're shifting thought patterns and you're shifting beliefs, you're essentially like slowly but surely reprogramming that code that exists within you. And it takes commitment and it takes consistency. And that is why most people tend to give up on a journey, a manifestation journey, a spiritual journey, a growth journey, because they don't see the results immediately. And results never happen immediately when you're on this kind of journey. But they will happen as long as you continue to commit. And I think that what's really important for you to know is that just because you haven't seen things improve yet doesn't mean they haven't improved in the 5D. And I feel like what this future energy is you start to see that trickle down into real material progress. Because I feel like because right here, 3 of Swords in reverse, this is all about healing. This is all about healing your inner world. And this 5 of Swords in reverse is giving me this energy of breaking out of survival mode, of finding this security within you. I am worthy, I am deserving, I am lovable, I am supported by the universe. And my life might not be a reflection of that yet, but it's going to be a reflection of it as long as I continue to show up with that energy, because that is how you create it. And funny enough, this is, well, not funny enough, actually, my workshop that I'm holding next Friday, April 25th, is all about embodiment when it comes to manifestation. And I feel like that's a message that the collective is really needing to hear right now as we're closing out new cycles and starting new ones. And I think that where you're headed right now is so good. And I think you have so much to look forward to, but this is very new for you. This is, you know, you're doing things differently. You're choosing maybe healthier choices and you're not seeing the results yet, which is making all of that fear arise. All of the fear that kept you in the old spaces, that kept you in relationships that didn't serve you, that kept you in places where you didn't belong. And you're facing that fear that nothing better is ever going to come along. That is necessary on the path to creating the life that you deserve. So I think that what Spirit is saying is like, you need to trust that you're doing the right thing, that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and that you are going to get where you're trying to go. And I feel like that, like without a shadow of a doubt, I feel like Spirit is saying that you can be sure of. Even if right now it doesn't seem like it or feel like it, it doesn't need for you to be on the right path. And headed in the right direction. So I feel like, you know, Spirit has a lot of like comfort that that Spirit is trying to give you in this reading. And I feel like the more that you are aware, like, okay, you know, yes, I'm experiencing a lot of fear and a lot of doubt and a lot of insecurity, but that doesn't mean that my fear, doubt, and insecurity is real. It means that I'm being given a chance to work through it in real time. So we're going to hop on over to the extended, and in the extended, we're going to talk about what can you do right now to move forward in alignment with your higher self. So focusing more on the tangible advice. Any information for that, like I said, is in the description box below. But before I hop on over to that, I do want to talk about this workshop that I have coming up in about a week, a little like a week and a half. It's next Friday, April 25th at 6 p.m. Central Time. And it's going to be about the secret of manifesting, which I already told you is embodiment. And it's really going to be breaking down the psychology behind manifesting. It's not going to be a workshop about the vision boards and the gratitude and the visualization. Okay, we all know those tools. Those tools are important, and they have a space in the journey, but a lot of people can implement those tools, the positive thinking, the vision boards, all day long and not see the progress. So this workshop is about that secret ingredient that a lot of people don't think about or maybe aren't even aware of, which is embodiment. So this workshop is breaking down what that even really means, and a lot of it has to do with the psychology behind manifesting and some giving you some kind of like tangible things to think about on your journey as you create the life that you really deserve. So any information for that is at the very top of the description box below. If you cannot make it live, there will be a recording that is available for anyone who purchases a ticket the next day, but I am going to keep access to this workshop small because I want to make sure that I am reaching the people who need to hear it the most. So tickets will only be on sale for a couple more days after this video posts. So be aware of that. I'm not trying to, you have a couple days, so you don't need to buy one right now. But if you are interested, I do encourage you to buy a ticket sooner rather than later. Okay, Scorpio, thank you so much as always for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Scorpio.